So a few weeks ago, some friends of mine invited me out to watch the new James Bond film. I didn't fully realize that we were actually going to a private independent cinema here in Parkhurst, Johannesburg. So I get here and I am absolutely blown away. I love it when entrepreneurs take on the establishment, especially when they do it for the love and for the passion of the industry that they're in. So I walked in here with this group of friends. We had booked the entire venue out for the evening, and I was just blown away by the entire experience. And I knew as I was watching the movie, I had to come back. I had to shine a spotlight on this small, incredible business. I just love small businesses that are having a go. And this cinema, this private independent cinema, Egrek, they're doing some incredible things. I'm going to hand over to the owner, Akhil, to tell you more about it.
I am Akhil Nana. Factually, I'm from South Africa, born and raised, actually from Johannesburg. Always did everything that was asked of, like go to school, get a good education, go to university, get a degree, get a good job, follow a career path. But I think I'm a person who's very thoughtful and at least self-reflective, and just looking for meaning and purpose and what I can add value, how I can add value to the world. That was the first part, and I feel like through my enthusiasm for movies, watching movies and experiencing movies, how can I best reflect that back to people and I don't know, get them enthusiastic as much as I am, and enable them to have the same excitement I do. I was abroad for a few years in Europe, and I happened upon an independent cinema, actually, not far from where I was living, but it was after a while. It's like walking down on High Street, see a movie poster, walk in, and immediately as soon as I walked in, I felt like I was in a different world, and I felt the excitement. I already like going to the cinema, but I used to go to the multiplexes, and there it's, you know, you walk in, buy a ticket, go to the concession stand, watch a movie. But here I already was in that world as soon as I walked in, and that excitement stayed with me through the movie. It was a good movie, and then after the movie as well. And at that point, like I was saying, I was looking for some more value that I could add for my own self. Like, how can I better get something out of my work? So I thought, okay, I could work in a cinema actually. But after working for like 10 years, could I go start at the bottom and get a job, or do I actually want to have a cinema in my view? What has inspired me, can I do the same thing and work there? It would be awesome to just do what you love, like work in a place and then go and watch movies. It's a great idea. So I came back and I just thought about what is the vision? Because I think if I have the vision, everything else will come from me. I thought it was just a beautiful cinema experience. And I thought, okay, that's it, that's the line, beautiful cinema experience. And from there I thought, okay, now I can make a cinema. I didn't consider, which was probably a fortunate thing, I didn't consider the other people in the industry when I came up with the idea. I didn't think about the competitors and the large theatre chains that control like 90% of the market, and that stuff I learned afterwards. But I think it would have discouraged me if I had done that research before. So I just thought, okay, the same idea. On a high street, you walk in, you watch a good film in a nice place, you engage with the people who work there, who are enthusiasts themselves, and you talk about movies. What makes a good cinema experience? And that's the vision, and that's the idea, and that all our actions, at least we try, myself and the staff, like, how can we make it a beautiful cinema experience? What action can we do? And I feel like that's also the difference with any other cinema. We try not to look at other cinemas and see what they're doing and replicate it exactly. We just look at maybe trends and see, oh, that could be something that would work here. Would it make sense? Would people like it? Try it, and if it doesn't, leave it alone or come up with our own ideas. It doesn't mean anything. The simple thing, I lived in Switzerland, that expat job that I had, and I used to go for French lessons. And when I was learning French, learning the alphabet, and the letter Y is pronounced Egrek. Not sure how you pronounce it now, it's been so many years, so I've forgotten it. And I thought, I like the sound of that word, especially when French people pronounce it. How would you spell it? And I wrote it down on a piece of paper, I Googled it, and nothing came up on Google. So I thought, okay, I can get the domain, that's the name. Initially, it didn't sound very good. I think it still doesn't sound like catchy or anything, but I felt at the time that from the cinema experience, it would come, like if you say any other brand name, initially it doesn't sound like much, but once the business is up and running, once the idea is there and people think about what the business is, the name will automatically match, it will automatically work. That was the idea, yeah. It's been 2.5 years and so far so good, let's say. It has been surprising, and it's actually a lot of the reaction has been the same that I had that inspired the idea. When I walked into that cinema, I had the same reaction because you don't expect it. I would say the demand is quite high. People come in to watch a movie, they buy a ticket, but then they're like, oh, you know what, I have an idea of how I can use this place for a party or with friends or watch my own favorite movie. Which is something I didn't consider before, but I'm happy that it's come about, that people feel like it's their place. That's also one of the differences, that people feel like this place is for them. Yeah. I've learned a few lessons. I'm learning every day, I mean, but the ones that stick out the most, that are important for me. The first one is that I had an idea for how this business should be. Without being in the industry or having experience, actually I don't really call myself an entrepreneur, but I guess that's what it is, that I started the business and I have to make sure that with my team that we keep it going. The main thing is that the idea I had was to build it for me, let's say, a bit selfish, that what is my idea of how the cinema should be, and then just follow that. But actually the lesson is we created the base, and the customers actually determine what this place is. And we have to be open to it. So we had an idea that we just show movies and people come in, buy a ticket and they'll have a great experience, and I had an idea for that. But the private screenings, the parties, the different movies, what movies to play, I thought I could choose the movies. But actually everyone who comes in here, they determine. And rightly so, because it's for them. And we have to always be open to it. We have to be open to listen to it and reflect on it and say, okay, this is the direction we're going in. And we have to make sure we serve that. The other one is that you have to keep an eye on the finance. That's not my background, and you just think naively that, oh, you build it and they will keep on coming in, and then you'll pay for your expenses and you get the ticket sales and concession sales. But you have to keep an eye on it, and you have to think as long-term as possible. Sure, it's a great idea and it will work, but if you don't keep an eye on that, then it could fall apart very, very quickly. And it's a constant, I wouldn't say struggle, but constant thought that you have to have. And the third one is, that I personally learned, is that I have to try the product myself regularly. I go for weeks, let's say, without coming in here to watch a movie. It's more like you're busy and people are coming in here and you're on the outside. And sometimes when it gets really, really tough, you forget why you're doing this. But if I just come in here and watch a movie and experience it from the customer's point of view, I realize, oh, actually, you know, I see it. I see why I did this. I see what inspired me. And you have to, at least that's what I tell everybody, you have to continuously find your reason why you're doing it. And if that means trying out the product yourself, or talking to people and understanding their enthusiasm about the place, then you have to do that. These days, people tend to think that watching a movie or experiencing a movie is just putting it on and watching it on your screen or in your home. But there's a big difference to experiencing a movie on the big screen with a group of people who are as enthusiastic about watching it and for the first time, than watching it alone or with some friends at home. And you have to put it on and you have to plan for it. Whereas it can be a huge experience to just say, let's go out of the house and experience it on the big screen. And it doesn't cost much. If you think about the things that you spend your money on to give you happiness, to give you a moment of excitement, cinema is like low down on the level. And I would say that you should at least try going to the movies. If it's not here, it's another cinema. But ideally you should come here and try this for the first time, and believe me, you won't regret it. We have had very few, I don't know if I can think of any people that have come in here and said, you know, it wasn't worth it to come and try this. We open 7 days a week. We're easily contactable through the internet or phone call. If you just Google Parkhurst Cinema, you could make a big night of it or a day of it. You could go for a meal and come up for a movie. You could even host your own event here. You can spend all day here. And it doesn't only have to be about the movie, although that's the main feature. You choose the movie that you like, and there's a lot of great movies coming up. And I don't believe you'll regret it for a second.